What an amazing, powerful, intergenerational platform we have created. What an impactful journey of intergenerational affirmation. What a way to arrive at a destination of transformation, agile mentorship, intergenerational dialogue, and celebrations of trailblazers. Instead of thinking about yourself and saying, hey. When I embarked on the passing of the baton journey, I was certain that I wanted to be an achiever. I have always felt that there are people who are left behind in the discussions around gender equality. We have our circle of wise women who have worked very hard for us to be where we are today. Nobody is consulting with them. Nobody is seeking for the wisdom that they have gained with the experience. That is why I felt that it is very important to have them hold the hands of the younger feminists as we walk forward. Personally, I am retiring, but I know that I've gathered a lot of experience. I am the vision bearer for Polycom Girls, and I believe that if not consulted, then I'll be having these beautiful ideas, or even my vision will die before the real vision is achieved. And that is why I felt that it is important to start this journey, and I'm happy that we are moving forward.
Anna Gar says the shoes are too big for her to fit in. So she bought her. To be the coordinator and facilitator of passing the baton has been such a great honor. It is a journey that I did not anticipate would bring so much growth, even for me as a facilitator of the passing the baton space. In many occasions, we have come together, both young and old, different generations. We have exchanged ideas. We have transformed spaces. We have cried together. We have laughed together. Then we have resolved very intentionally to stick together, to sustain some kind of communication, collaboration, and coordination. It has been a very big learning ground for me on how we can navigate intergenerational dialogue, intergenerational coordination, and just make things work between the young and the old. There's a lot to learn from the young. There's a lot to learn from the old. So both of us, different dimensions, have something to bring to the table. It has been indeed a very empowering journey, very needed, extremely critical to all of us who want to see impactful change.
I must say that we began this journey on the feet of the wise women. We went back to the foundation, to the trailblazers who opened the way for all of us. The visit to the home of pre- and post-colonial woman political leader Jael Mbogo was a cementing act. We were pressing our foundation on going back to the old to inform our path ahead. We were literally going back to get the baton that was passing on to us. And the young women were so thrilled to sit by her feet and just bask in her greatness.
Mimi nafurahi sana kusikia program yenu. It really motivates me. It gives me a lot of energy, and it gives me a lot of hope that at least as we struggle, something is happening. And that something will make all of us happy and will change this country, will change our society. Be the change bearers, be the change holders, so that we can have a better country than what we have today.
Say, I am a Femininja. I am a Femininja. So let me tell you why I'm standing here today as your elder. If the wise elders of the village don't teach the children, the village fools will certainly do so. We don't want you to be taught by the village fools. So the space where the young ones, the Femininjas, first came in, it was amazing when we did the small exercise with the young ones blindfolded to urge them to move. and listen to whoever will lead them and guide them. It was a powerful exercise because the question was, whose voice do you listen to? Who are you responding to? Who is guiding you? It was very impactful to see the young women select and choose to listen to one particular voice amidst the noise. And this is what our spaces are about. This space also is where the Femininjas put together names, a list of who they consider as trailblazers. It's very important in passing the baton, because when we can identify our trailblazers, then we can actually even select whose baton we want to pick and walk with. So the Femininja space was one powerful eye-opening space. And even for me as a facilitator, whose voice do I listen to? Whose voice am I responding to?
There is nothing the subconscious mind cannot achieve if the conscious mind does not interfere.
Sometimes you're not ready for instant transformation, especially between generations. The space for the Firebrands was magical. When we did look into my eyes exercise, it was intense as it was disarming. How many times do we look into each other's eyes to see the soul? How many times are we able to look into the eyes of our mentors, our colleagues, those we are mentoring? The passing the baton conversation gets deeper and deeper, and this is so important.
The gladiators, commonly known as Generation X, us. Those of us who in the last 20, 30, 40 years have been fighting in the space, have been acquiring knowledge, have been getting experience. We have been leading and managing organizations. We know the rules like the back of our hands. We are traveled, well exposed, very opinionated. We have networked. We have stretched the limits. We understand exactly which buttons to press. The gladiators are at the top of their game. They are leading the Femininjas and leading the Firebrands. But the gladiators also have to pause and think about who they listen to. What we have seen in this work of passing the baton in our journey is that gladiators are keen to listen to somebody who's higher above them, with more experience, with more exposure, with more years in the game. So gladiators are keen to learn and understand who was there ahead of them. And one of the things that we find very giving in this space is that gladiators acknowledge, they know who the trailblazers were. And when they have trailblazers in the room, you can tell that gladiators have noticed their trailblazers because they have read about them. They have known about them. Some of them are standing on their shoulders, literally. They are the ones who pulled them to come and do this work. So gladiators at the top of their game, like I say, are probably the bosses or the managers of the Firebrands and the Femininjas. So the disconnect sometimes comes in the dynamics of how managers deal with the ones they serve, or the ones who are younger deal with the elders, or actually interact with the managers. So there is a need really for gladiators to speak their truth, but an even greater need for gladiators to listen to what the Firebrands and the Femininjas are saying. In passing the baton this journey, it was quite inspiring to see that when we called the gladiators into the space, they knew a lot. Of course, we expected that. Their experience guarantees that. They knew a lot, but they also yearned for a lot so that the space can be sustained. And that was quite inspiring. So gladiators, very powerful, extremely needed in their passing the baton journey.
Wow! The celebrations of the circle of wise women and all the generations. What an amazing space. How powerful it was to have the opportunity to honor our elders, our trailblazers, the songs, the dances, the washing of the feet, the gifts, it was just magical. Something personally I've never witnessed my whole life.
And Kenya will restore the world. Yes, because we have a life beat. Yes, this is a manifestation. Yes, of a life beat. Yes, a life connection. Yes, there is no disconnection. Yes, divinely connected to God. Right.
And so passing the baton is a journey that is intertwined between generations, between the elders and the young. And it is a bond that you can't break. It has to be there because the elders were once young and the young will in their turn be elders. There is an African proverb that says, the youth walk faster, but the elders know the way. And so this Passing the Baton project is in actual realization and recognition that we have young people who are agile, they're strong, they're fired up, they're moving fast. But this program also recognizes that ahead of the young people, there were elders who know the way. They have walked this path before. They've been fiery before. They've been so inspired before. They've been very strong before. So they know the way, they know the route to take. Hence the reason why the connectivity between the young and the old cannot be broken. Let the youth run faster with direction of the path from the elders.
And I just want to affirm you. I know you're able. I know you have wonderful people around you. I know you can. Another thing is that all these girls are well educated. And you can imagine now me with all those struggles back there, struggling with all those books, strategic plan, all those very tough things, denying me an opportunity to stay young, Mildred. Thank you so much, and I affirm you.
Thank you. A big clap for Jen and Anne.
I just want you all to know I'm qualified for the work I do academically. And also to say that I have had the privilege of watching this woman nurture. I've also had the privilege of seeing her give out a lot that other people would have been selfish with to be for their family. And I've watched that being shared with various people who've gone out and become amazing people. And really to appreciate the work that you've done, affirm you that you've raised an amazing woman and other amazing women, of course. And thank you so much for all the work that you continue to do for your mentorship and leadership at Polycom. Receiving the baton means a number of things. It's both a challenge and it's a blessing. A blessing in terms of, as a young person, I'm able to ensure that we are constantly aligned to our priority of a sustainable future for women and girls. A challenge in terms of Jen's shoes are very difficult to fit into. Many people have a perception of who Polycom is, and we've grown through the 20 years to become even better. So it's a challenge to just reinform people, reinvent, and also meet the expectations that have been set. But I am also aware that I cannot be a replica of the leadership that existed. And I have to be inclusive of other young people, just open up the space so that there's a sustainable future for women and girls. The most inspiring thing is that I get to work with a lot of young people. It's an acknowledgement that young people can actually lead, not an environment where young people just have to listen, but where they can equally be heard. So I'm really inspired to see even more young people in such positions like myself. But I'm also aware that there's a lot of influence from older generations, but just how to navigate that and make it positive to ensure a more inclusive environment for all of us to coexist and thrive. I am personally at a position of constant learning. I think that's what we are learning over time, just knowing that I constantly do not know everything. But I am also aware that to sustain the organization, to sustain myself, to sustain the future of other younger people, it involves a lot of cross-learning, it involves a lot of consultations, it involves a lot of reflections, and also just ensuring my own personal well-being so that I'm always able to bring my best version. And even when I'm not able to bring my best version, to try and influence my colleagues and everyone around me to bring their best version so that we are building up on each other's strengths and weaknesses. Honestly, I believe in pivoting. So I would not say I have right now a personal mission and vision, because I might wake up tomorrow and not have the same mission and vision, considering the constant changes that are happening to us as young people. Even right now in a political arena, everything we believe in keeps changing. We recently launched the strategic plan for Polycom Girls, and I'm learning right now. My vision would be, if I reflect, is to be adaptive as possible to realities, because the moment you cage yourself to a certain reality and then that reality becomes not a reality anymore, then you become shaken. My hope is that everyone accepts transition, everyone accepts change, that change is inevitable, and even when change is very hard, try and be in acceptance, be inclusive, not be a hindrance to change. Sometimes I feel like in the space, young people, there are structures that have been set up for you not to thrive. But what I hope for is that even when the circumstances do not favor me, I am able to step back, reflect, question, critique, and then create a better environment for myself and others. What inspires me is that I actually work in a community that I sort of grew up in to an extent. So my lived reality serves as a bias to some issues. So it sort of inspires me to just ensure a better future for other girls who are at some point like myself. So I'm really inspired and looking forward to a lot of things. I'm also inspired by the boys and young men that I work with. It shows that there is some level of progress in gender equality.
This is just but the beginning of the journey. In this passing the baton journey, you cannot allow yourself to be left behind, because we are all in. We are all growing. We celebrate our birthdays every year, meaning there's someone stepping into where you were yesterday. So kindly join us as we walk into passing the baton, phase 2. In this phase 2, we are going to have the circle of wise women physically holding the hands of the gladiators, and the gladiators holding the hands of the firebrands, and the firebrands holding the hands of the Femininjas. We are going to have everybody learning from each other. It has to be cross-learning. We all have something to offer, and you have something to offer. So welcome to season 2. Let's walk together, everyone in the space.